Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Monday's edition of premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for the most important hour of the day, the first hour. Good morning, Dennis. Got about an 18-point range in the S&Ps this morning, primarily attributed to all the good news coming from Europe.
Yeah, it's actually been a pretty wild ride, despite the being really quiet here this morning. We had a high there, 12.59, so up 8 points. Then we had sold off overnight down to as low as 12.32, and I think there just hasn't been a heck of a lot. Some denied rumors, CNBC reporting on his resignation, so that was probably moving it overnight to Italy, PM resignation there. It's been a wild ride. It's been some news overnight, but we kind of just settled in here. We're down 5 points, and it's been actually quiet so far.
Okay, that high that we made last night at 12.59.50, that was made right off the get-go. Kind of a little bit of a continuation from the Friday activity. We challenged Thursday and Friday's high, which stood up there, held up pretty well. We couldn't get up to 12.59.75 during the day session. But if that 12.59.50 holds as the high of the day, we have a downside target of 12.28 even, which would take us just below Thursday's intraday low at 12.50. So far, the Globex low stands at 12.32, right smack in between Thursday's intraday low and Friday's low. Right now, we need to stay above the 12.41 level to stay positive on the day. Moving on to the Big Ten, Dennis, when's the last time you saw a 4-point range in Apple?
Actually, I think it was the day before, wasn't it, Joel? I think it was 2 days in a row. We were even saying, it's funny you had a 4-point range, and maybe it had a little bit more. Maybe I'm lying, but anyways, either way, Apple has just been tightening up here in this 400 area. We've talked about this 400 being a magnet, and it really is here, Joel. Again, we're at 399.55. Just can't seem to, get away from the stranglehold of this 400. We might go down 3-4 points, up 3-4 points. We always seem to get back to that 400 within a day or two.
Yeah, really the only good number to keep an eye on today, if in fact it gets up to 403.40. 40 to 44, there were Thursdays and Fridays highs. Not too often you see, a double top or two tops so close to each other in that stock. But that should stand as major resistance today and for the entire week. Coming on the downside, we're trading dangerously close to Friday's low at 399.16. Break there would take us down to the 395 level. And for the last 2 weeks, we've been able to hold 393. Moving on to our second biggest component, ExxonMobil. Relevant numbers for that stock would be 77, 38, and 44, which were Thursday and Friday's lows. So that's real good support in that stock. Couldn't quite get back up to the $79 level. That was Thursday's high. Friday's high is 78.61. So got a little range here, Dennis. Maybe 77.50 to 79, the ExxonMobil today?
Yeah, maybe, Joel. Like 79, we topped out there. I think it was Thursday night, actually, is where we topped out on 79. So maybe, if we went into rally mode, maybe that comes back into play. We're down 6 right now, so you'd assume ExxonMobil, if that holds, going to open down a little bit. But, and obviously we bottomed out there a couple times on Friday in those mid-77s, so maybe that gives you a little bit of support too. But none of these are real big numbers here, so there's no real big numbers, but you've got some, minor support there, 77.5 area.
Okay, IBM is just trying to sneak up to that 190.53, which was the all-time high. Seem to be running into some resistance here at the 188 level. You had Thursday's high at 187.78. That's about 20 cents away from the 6-day high, which is 188.05. So 188's big on the upside here for IBM. Coming on the downside, you just have, higher lows from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The first stopping point would be 184.74, which was Friday's low.
I can back up your 188 with a little bit of size there, 217,000, which is somewhat significant for IBM. It's not huge, but there's a little bit of size there as well. So I think you will see some resistance there on the high 187s, as those high frequency guys try to lean on it. And yeah, I don't know for support on this. I'm kind of, I'm going to just sit back on support on this one.
Okay, Microsoft, key numbers for Microsoft today would be this 25.98 to 26 level. Those were Thursdays and Fridays lows. You got up to 26.58 on Thursday. Got a little gap just above that, but the major resistance above that 26.58 would be Monday's high of 27 even.
Yeah, you had a couple days in a row here where we bottomed at 26, so you got to think you're going to find support there again the third time around. Like on Thursday, we bottomed, it looks like 24.98. On Friday, actually, it was 26 even. So 26, you seem to be finding some buyers here. On this 26.5 area, you were finding some sellers there a couple of days ago. 26.25, you were finding. Like, everything seems to be getting in tighter ranges here, Joel. The volatility, everything's just winding up here, trying to figure out which way it wants to go. Maybe it's going to be on, on some European headline or something that we eventually do break out up or down. But, man, the ranges are getting tighter and tighter here every day.
Okay, Chevron Corporation, double top here, 106.55, which was Thursday's high. Snuck through it by a nickel on Friday at 106.60, so that's going to be huge, that 106.60 area. Coming back on the downside, 104.48 was Thursday's low. 104.70 was Thursday's low. 104.48 was the low from Friday. So we'll see which way we're going to go. 104.48, 106.60. The stock is due to break out. Which way do you think it's going to break out, Dennis?
Man, I don't know. I feel like it's going to end up heading back down here again, but would I sell it at 106? Like I was saying, the major resistance up there at 110. So if you're putting a short on at 106, you almost got to take, 4 points of heat unless you're like a day trader type of trader. But if you're a swing trader on this, the major resistance is up there at 110. I'd love to get to the 109s and try a short again. I know that, I had it there the one and I got $2 off it. I wish I would have held it a little longer. Joe was teasing me about that. But, definitely going to be sellers up in the 108s, 109s. Right in here at this 106, it's kind of a little too far away from resistance for me to get comfortable shorting it.
Well, you got to respect that double top there, Dennis, 106.55 to 106.60.
Yeah, especially if you're a short-term trader, Joel. So, if you're a short-term guy, like real short-term, then, that's at a level you can, anytime you have a top or a bottom, there's always, a possibility. Even 107, we were popping over there a couple of days ago. Monday, we were topping out a little bit in the 107 area, late Monday afternoon. So, there is some resistance here if you wanted to play it through, but just, be aware that the real big resistance is up a little bit higher.
Okay, good numbers in J&J, just like many other the Big Ten here. Thursday and Friday's highs only 2 cents apart at 64.52 to 54. I'm calling that major resistance. Below that, you're getting a cluster of lows here. You had a couple Wednesday's close and Thursday's low at 63, 64 and change. Wednesday's low, I'll call that the good support, is 63.41. Below that, you have the 63.10, which was the weekly low. J&J winding up here too, Dennis.
Everything is winding up into tighter ranges. Again, we were talking about the 65 area, a little bit higher than 64.5, but it seems like you get an and there's sellers up there. There is size up at 65, so not huge, 50,000, but it's enough that I think you'll have major resistance 64.80s and 64.90s, Joel.
Okay, Procter & Gamble couldn't quite get to that triple top we had at 63.52 to 63.60, which was Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays highs. Only got to 63.19 on Friday, closed at 63.03. We did make the weekly low in that stock on Friday at 62.37 relative to the market. The stock was kind of weak. Below that, you're breaking under that 62.37 area, and you got like a free ride down here to 61.75.
This stock actually does look like it could break down to me. Like we obviously took a lot of, key levels getting down at 62.37 there. Joel, and now we've popped back up here. And actually, if you're looking at this chart, 63.5, Joel, so it was Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday that we were popping up there. So if you were to get a short off up there in the 63.40, 63.50 area, you may have a good look down to the 62.5. So I could see a short-term trader trying to trade from that area.
Anything in the book?
Nothing there. I see a little bit up at 64, but I don't see anything at 63.5 to back it up. But, we're in an algorithmic world. A lot of institutions use algorithms now. So, there's, for some reason, there seems to be a seller that's showing on the charts up there at 63.5. I mean, that's what the charts really tell you sometimes. It can show you where there's some large sellers and large buyers because we've topped out there a few times. So, either it's coincidental that the market's just spun and turned at those times, or there might be something there that's something selling.
Okay, AT&T just making a series of lower highs. You topped out a week ago Friday at 29.80, and now the lows have just been, stepping down, with Friday's high being 29.24. We're knocking on the door here in the pre-market, so let's use that'd be a good swing number here at 29.24. If in fact it can't hold that level, let's look at a test of kind of a double bottom there. Wednesday and Friday's lows at 28.93 to 28.95.
This thing is winding up here too, Joel. To $29, I still think that's like a good swing number. It's kind of a magnet here too. We've touched it a few times. I know back in September we were really topping out there. So this $29 seems to be some type of a magnet. So maybe you find a little bit of support there. Again, I know you had a couple bottoms there at 28.95. So just call the whole area at 29. I think that's your first area of decent support.
Okay, General Electric, also just kind of winding in here, making a couple lower highs from Thursday and Friday, closed at 16.39 with Friday's low at 16.23. If in fact we can't hold that 16.23, definitely should get a test of the weekly low at 15.97. Dennis will call that 16. And below that, you have the October 10th low of 15.76. So staying above 16 is going to be critical for GE over the next couple days.
You got it, Joel. I couldn't agree more. It's got to hold that 16 to stay in the rally mode. We start breaking down, get the 1590s, 1580s, and then we start thinking about that old 15. Remember that 15 for months? It seemed like we were talking about that range 15 to 16. So right now we'll still give her to 16 as support, but we start breaking down through there, and could get interesting.
Okay, Coca-Cola, after topping out just over 69 a few days ago, just kind of been meandering, making some lower highs. Couldn't quite get there on Thursday, Dennis. Only got to 68.82. Friday's high was 68.15. Thursday's high was 68.82. Just holding in here around that $68 level. Resistance is coming down. Got a nice play here at Wednesday and Friday's low at 67.25 to 39. So if in fact that doesn't hold, look for a test of the weekly low at 66.78. And then you got the old 8-day low at 66.40. And any size in Coca-Cola?
Up in the 69 area, I see 68.90 some size and 69. So about a buck away from here, about a buck away from the close, it would get thick. So if it goes into rally mode for whatever reason, and the high 68s, there seems to be sellers all over the place. So there's major resistance up there. I don't see much at 68. Like I was, looking at the chart and I was like, well, 68 looks like you could get some sellers, but there's nothing backing it up in the book though.
Okay, that's a recap of the Big Ten and the SPUs as well. The S&Ps are just mysteriously quiet here at the 1245 level. A lot of double tops and double bottoms from Thursday and Friday. A lot of consolidation in the S&Ps as well in the stocks. So we're winding up for a big move here, Dennis. We'll just have to figure out which way. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with our market movers.